Once I started making cocktails for a while, and I was making cocktails for people where they were sitting at the bar, was to kind of elevate the whole experience. And especially for you at home, I just want to show you some easy ways to do this. It's a way of kind of taking the experience one more level, especially once you feel confident about the cocktails that you're making and you feel confident about the flavors. I love just being able to do simple presentations that really leave an impression on someone. So we're going to channel our inner Martha Stewart and show you just some very simple things. So one of the things I love to use, this is a Himalayan salt slab. This is actually something you can get for $40 on Amazon. It's absolutely beautiful. It is salt. It does deteriorate over time, but not that much. But here it is. Here's an incredible placemat that you can have already set up before your guests come in. Listen, I know most of you at home are doing this at home. It's not like sometimes you might only have 2 to 3, 4 people. So this is actually really, really, refers to you. So you'll take a nice little Himalayan salt slab, and maybe you're going to be serving an alcoholic oyster or a granita or something like that, which I have on my site here. But you just do a nice little place. So you've got a nice little fork like that. Maybe you have a spoon for something that they're going to, like some kind of frozen little granita that you made for them. Maybe there's a nice bowl here of something. Maybe you have a snack for them to start with, because a lot of times what I love to do is when people show up, they have that cocktail that they're waiting for, and they have just a little snack before the dinner, before we cook something, or maybe they brought food, who knows. So that's just a really simple way, just a nice, and to me it's just beautiful. I mean, it's really, really beautiful, and it didn't really take a lot of effort. And I think it's really important, especially just, I don't want to really generalize, but guys they're focusing on the cocktails, or you're focusing on one thing, and sometimes you don't really think about these other details, and that really don't take a lot of effort, that people really notice, and people take away that. They'll remember the drinks, but there's a feeling of the setting that I think that they're really going to take away. So another thing that's really simple, that's really unusual too. Now look here's the deal. So here's something again that I picked up at Target. This is like $10, right? And to me right away, I don't always just see something and know exactly what I'm going to do with it, right? But it's pretty much, this is on brand. I use a lot of herbs. I use a lot of things that I forage. And there's a natural feel to this. And I think if I can encourage you to do anything, just start paying attention. Paying attention to things that you see in supermarkets, in stores, in yard sales. They can be things that you can use. You might not know what they're going to be used for at that time, but that's kind of, for me, it's just like, pick things that you love, and then eventually there's something that you can have a nice use for them. But here's another great place setting you could do, right? So it's got a really nice natural feel, and for me, maybe I have an alcoholic sea urchin in here, or I have some kind of little sip that I want to do in there. Maybe I've put one of my alcoholic sponges there, right? And then what you could do as well is you can use, this is called a painting spoon basically, so they use this for oils and painting. These are again like $5 or $6 on Amazon, and maybe your first cocktail is in that, and maybe you have it where you've got a jigger in there, and you've just got this, the cocktail is waiting for somebody in there, and you've got a way of resting it there. So when they come and sit down, the first thing they're going to have is that. So for me, I always feel like the experience is drawing me in, and then it's heightened. So let's just say, for instance, that you maybe don't have the time, or maybe you don't have the resources, or maybe it's something that came up quickly. Well, one of the ways that you can really elevate something is just really taking just kind of like wild flowers or wild grass and wild herbs, and actually just make a nice kind of bouquet that goes on with the napkin. So let me just show you that for a second. So these are really nice, and these are elevated, but then you also could just get a regular placemat, a regular napkin that you get anywhere, right? I think I got this at Bed Bath & Beyond. And then what you can do is you can take different wild flowers. These are just like buds that are budding from grass right now. So I'm taking that, and just look how beautiful that is, right? And we'll just do a nice little trim of that. And then I have access, obviously, to a lot of wild plants and things like that. And most people have that in all the areas, but this is a wild purple sage, which I love because it's so unusual, because it has these 3 bulbs. And then what you can do is just take some basic string, right, that you would get at any kind of like hardware store, and just tie those together, right? And here it is. I've gotten a placemat that was very inexpensive as well. Or you probably have so many placemats, right? And you just like don't have the time to go get something, or you just want to do something different. But listen, you could get sunflowers, you could get dandelions outside, anything, and you just make a nice little kind of presentation there, right? And now when they sit down, they see that. Maybe that's something that they take home and they can dry the sage and they use it. Maybe you put a nice little fork and knife there, right? Even though we're doing this on the opposite side, so what? Takes that. And maybe you do a little spoon for something up top. And now when they sit down, they've got a setup. And to me, that's really important. It's like, I love making drinks, I love making food, but it's a natural evolution to kind of get to this point. So I remember when I lived in New York, here's a perfect example of this, and I would walk down Fifth Avenue. I would start all the way from Central Park South all the way down the Village. And one of the things I was doing is I just wanted to see what caught my eye. I just wanted to see as I was walking, because I was young. I didn't know what I wanted to do yet in life. But I noticed what I was attracted to. I noticed what I gravitated towards. And I think that's what this is like we all have our unique things inside of us. We all have our unique histories that we have. And I think it's like, you know, just walking down a Target aisle or seeing a local flea market or any of these places that has all these kind of knickknacks, it's like whatever you're attracted to, go with that. That is going to be the most kind of powerful thing that you're going to use. And the thing is you're going to have a feeling that you're going to love it. So that's my best advice with that. I think it's always worked for me. And I really, really encourage you to do so.